Tigers. Fresh off a big win at home over UC Irvine, sit atop the early season Big West.
The spacing and creativity, Davis played so well in that first half of shooting the
in the Big West last season. Of course, this will be their final season.
And they got two of them there, inside out, the extra pass. We saw Bondel finding to that perimeter nail area before creating, and offensive rebounds have really been an upstart for this Mustang team. They've missed so many threes, you got to go get some extras.
Erickson walled off on the baseline. Hunker Clayton finds an open Rulia-Def, and Caden Ward skies for the miss. The hit ahead to Kieran Elliott, right down the boulevard, and met with resistance by Rulia-Def, who was able to recoil on defense and swat the shot.
Well, 11 block shots against that Irvine team. This Hawai'i is not fearful of protecting their paint, one of the best in the country as far as their defensive efforts. But we've seen it now. Poly's been able to get down that floor quite easy against the Hawai'i bigs. That's a difference maker. If you keep that dribble alive for Elliott, you can find another one of these.
Caden Ward off the heel. Mustangs create another second chance. They let it fly. Bondel felt he was hit, wound up missing everything, and it belongs to Hawai'i. 30th matchup. Hawai'i leads 18-10 all time. Mustangs split the season series with Hawai'i last year. The 16-point win was the most recent meeting between the Rainbows and Stings. Cal Poly snapped a 9-game winning streak for Hawai'i in the all-time series with that double-figure win here last season. Johnson to the baseline, and he fills it up. The first points tonight.
Really a gift there to be able to dribble in that angle. It took him a while to get there, but can raise up over most mortal defenders.
Isaac Johnson, at one time, a top 55 recruit nationally coming out of high school. Hawai'i has 4 native Utah players on the roster. A lot of recruiting in the Beehive State. Peter Bondel with a finger roll finish answers back for the Mustangs.
Look, I don't go on 5-hour flights week-to-week basis. This is going to be Hawaii's first of their tandems that they're coming over to the mainland to do it. Their legs look a little slow right now, and if Poly can permeate the paint that easily from that distance, they're going to like the shot attempts they find.
It is only Hawaii's 3rd trip all season to the mainland. Isaac Johnson knocks down the elbow jump shot, all 4 for the Rainbows.
Yeah, you don't like to see it go in if you're Mike DeGeorge's group, but you also got to understand taking those types virtually eliminates offensive boards.
Erickson the takeaway to the cup, and he lays it in.
Well, Davis has got to meet him there earlier. You're basically allowing a similar leveled athlete, and now we got to, this has got to be a warning for Darren White, who knows.
That's a delay of game against Cal Poly. If they're called for another delay of game the remainder of the night, it will result in a Class B technical foul, which will be a free throw for Hawai'i. And Hunter Erickson, who ended Hawaii's last game with a make, has his first points in the opening minutes in transition.
Well, he was trying to hunt that free throw line too. He's only attempted 6 of them in the last 5 games, but this guy, I think he's their best deflector, best disruptor. As you mentioned, he's played everywhere in Utah. Now he's found his way to the island.
Yeah, BYU, Salt Lake City College, the last 2 years with the Utes. Bondel has missed both of his attempts badly from the outside.
Well, it's the acceptedness of the long-range bomb. We'll call them love calls for now, but the reality is Poly has still got to mix in that 2-point field goal.
Musa rebounds the Johnson miss. Elliott, jump stop. Bondel able to tightrope the baseline. Has struggled to shoot it of late, trying to find it, and he does with a knockdown from deep.
Well, there was no chance. The big fella was going out there to meet him, to dance, and then ultimately let Peter, who's so good with that right hand, break you down. But offensive rebounds, Mustangs. Good no call there as Rulia-Def running right through Bondel. Poly active on that offensive glass, providing second chances.
40th tray for Peter Bondel this season. Hunter Erickson answers back with his 19th.
Yeah, and I think that's scary a little bit for the Mustangs if the ball can get that deep and still the passing angles behind the backboard.
Yeah, Musa throws it away. Hawai'i basketball on the other side. Rainbows have hit 4 of their first 6 shots here on the mainland in San Luis.
It's being in the decisions and the types to take. My account so far is Poly has taken 4 great ones. They need to get to 16 or 17. Those long line love calls are more about the decisiveness and the decision of which ones to take. For Hawai'i, it's simple. The arc adjustment. This is one of the best defensive teams in the country, but the reality is they don't have the speed or advantage to keep up with a spaced team on the perimeter. They've got to decide, as this game goes on, what arc defensive adjustments they've got to throw to a Mustang team that right now is Chris, a symmetrical 37 of 37 the last 2 games and change. 37 threes, 37 twos. They found a little balance.
Trying to string together back-to-back wins. They get a takeaway out of the timeout. Mosley to the rim, and it's put back by Caden Ward.
I'll tell you what, Poly is really active towards that backboard. And when Mosley coming in, as we saw unexpectedly against Davis early, provided not only the most minutes he's played, the most points he's ever scored.
Got 9 big points off the bench in the first real action he's seen all year in meaningful minutes. Mike DeGeorge likes his speed, especially against a lengthy Hawaii bunch that aren't particularly quick when you look at their tempo compared to Cal Poly's.
And these are the types of passes that are going to really crush the Mustangs. I mean, the reality is Hawaii is not going to get out there and post you too much. I think one of the things Poly is going to have to acclimate to, because traditionally a drop coverage defense of Hawaii, the less ball screens that they put in the middle of the floor is going to confuse or at least slow down the coverage of Hawaii.
Bullock underneath, and a late whistle for a foul. Boy, that came way late from Darren White.
Yeah, it was about the hand placement of Musa on that one. Really no reason when you're flailing underhanded backwards behind the backboard, the likelihood of a miss and then a transition out. They talked about hugging your man there, curling off. He actually made a decent play, but then the hack laterally, a no-doubter.
Oh, the well-traveled Dre Bullock. 6th program in 6 years, went to 2 different junior colleges at a high school. Since then, Louisiana Tech, Niagara in New York, and last year, South Dakota. After spending a winter in Vermilion, are you surprised he chose Honolulu?
Hey, the blood can thin in colder areas, and surprised to see a missed free throw there. He had been 14 of his last 15, really shooting it well from the charity stripe.
Bondel puts it on the deck, picked up by Hunter Erickson. Musa goes baseline, spins, tried to flip it across the floor. Osron recovers, 5 on the timer. Ward steps back and drills the 3.
Sometimes in Ward's world, those are acceptable. Confident to always do it, but second chance opportunities, whether it's a deflected pass, Osron on the side mini screen and roll. When Ward shoots, he's one of the more confident guys in the galaxy.
Just 2 for 8 from the field last time, but got to the foul line late, wound up with 13 against Davis, deadlocked at 10, and Bullock unties it with 2.
Yeah, that's where Ali Osron as a freshman has just got to utilize his hips a little bit more. Just be a force, be a fire hydrant, be in the way. You can't allow guys to make second and kind of underhand moves into the paint.
Mosley spins and scores, and again bringing energy off the bench for Mike DeGeorge in Cal Poly tonight.
He just kind of plays with a vibe and a balance that it looks like it's going in. The confidence in what he's exuding right now, tremendous for a Stang.
Jackson Mosley is 4th year with the program, but by far the most he's played in any Big West game each of the last 2, and that's an offensive foul.
Well, you thought it could have been a slid of the trail foot, but again, putting your hips in front, much like was not done the previous possession as Osron comes to the bench. Mosley just kind of that guy to be in the way. He has an advantage near the ground. I thought for Erickson should have shot the first one.
Isaac Finlinson, Isaiah Kerr come off the bench for Aran Ganat early. The Hawaii team picked to finish 3rd in the Big West preseason poll after finishing outside the top 8 and not qualifying for the Big West tournament last year. Had their worst ever record in conference play as members of the Big West, and now trying to leave on a much higher note. Caden Ward slithers inside, everything but the finish from the sophomore out of Stockton.
Yeah, and to me, those are the tougher ones because you're checked out on the weak side. For Tarlach, he couldn't really get around for an offensive board opportunity. The underhands through larger defenders, not a great one.
This is Finlinson out of the shot fake. Hunkin Clater twirls around, and it rolls in. Shooter's touch.
Yeah, when you make that quick spin, you go to the paint, you know you're spinning back. The sooner you can get your eyes back to the target, the shoulders get balanced, and then the touch and gravity takes over.
Musa lets it go. And he's misfired on all 3 of his attempts from 3-point territory early.
Well, there's a reason why he's one of the leaders in the country. At the same time, though, when the Mustang offense gets stale of less pass and the inability to go get you an offensive rebound, Poly's had their chances to bust out in front of that lead. They had made 3 in a row before the last 2.
Hawaii only has one non-power conference loss this year. They opened the season in Eugene, lost to Dana Altman and the Oregon Ducks, also lost a tight game at home against Bobby Hurley and Arizona State back in November. Corner pop off the side of the iron. Namiksha misses his first attempt badly.
That's a really good setup. They utilize that a lot. A little cross screen on the baseline. Can't leave 10 here.
Oh, the rainbow three bangs off the back iron. Ward takes it away from Isaac Johnson.
Yeah, if you don't have 10 fingers on this ball and you let Musa keep shooting, he puts his hands in the air as if to say, it's Thursday, it's slow time, let me roll.
Short memory.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean, Chris, we talked about it last game. Not many players in the history of this program have been allowed to take 12 plus on average from the three-point line. Poly doing a better job now on some of these slice and middle cuts. But when Musa has that amount of time to catch, recalibrate, and flow, look out. We're the students. I thought it was sorority night. They'll come out and applaud this splash and dash for a Mustang lead.
Mike DeGeorge in his second season leading the Mustangs. 16 victories in year one last year, which was the most in a single season by a Cal Poly team since the 2012-2013 campaign. That was the last winning season Cal Poly men's basketball had. And he has sustained and driven some of that momentum into year two, sitting at 7-11, 3-3 in the Big West. Eran Ganot in year 11. Kind of hard to believe, but all the way back in his first season, that was Hawaii's Big West championship year. He was the Big West Coach of the Year, and they upset Jalen Brown and Cal in the round of 64 in the Big Dance that season.
I believe that was in Spokane, and it was one of those types where you just kind of keep playing, and they figured it out. And I mean, it's a historic program over there on the island. Just hasn't been producing into the postseason as much as they'd have hoped.
Luka Tarlach, who did not play against UC Davis over the weekend, turns it over out of the timeout.
Right now, a Hawaii team starting 6 of 6 from two-point land. It's been a fear for this Mustang defensive group. The closer the opposition gets to the hoop, the easier the percentage starts to rise, and that is not a good understanding of the complexities of dribble handoffs, weaves, and attacking to strong shoulders. This is a Hawaii team that is one of the bigger in the country, and you let a guy like this get a lead shoulder, you can't compound it with a foul.
17-15 after the and one for Isaac Finlinson, who was the Junior College Player of the Year last season at Salt Lake City College.
He's already got half his average from the last 3 games. Hasn't been scoring it as he did proficiently in the junior college level, but play a little defense here on Jake.
Yeah, another guy that came up from JUCO. 5 on the timer. Bondel trying to create. Musa will have to turn and hoist, and does draw iron, allowing Luka Tarlach to grab the loose ball, and it caroms out to Peter Bondel.
You got to kind of scurry here after offensive rebounds. When we add the totals again, that was not a great attempt. Poly's got to get to 16 great ones, and when you scurry after a rebound of step back 3, that's a force.
3 for 12 start from distance for Cal Poly against a Hawaii team that averages 27% against from the perimeter as they turn it over again, trying to find the big 7-footer Isaac Johnson in the post.
Yeah, Poly was slow on that rotation after getting some tangled feet, but I'll be honest with you, Chris, Isaac Johnson is a fantastic player. I always love to zip passes right to the teeth of a big man, especially when they were open and unguarded. Hit him in the face with the ball. They will catch it. That one was way over his head.
Elliott stops outside the restricted area, plays it up top to Caden Ward, watched by Hunter Erickson. Austin Good seeing his first minutes off the bench, the freshman for Cal Poly. Elliott spins on the block. Another late shot clock possession. Caden Ward blocked inside at the last moment.
Tume coming through on that. When you rotate again, you got to get your head turned quickly, and late clock, it's predictable on where you're going.
Erickson open and cans the 3.
I want another quantifiable. We have all these metrics in basketball. A backdoor cut to a sling to the opposite corner. Beautifully done. That has been a prescription for high-level basketball. Hawaii's starting to find an offensive rhythm.
2 first-half trays. Jake Davis on the money.
When the pass is in front of you, the hips and the feet are correctly aligned. The expectation to see that ball through the tin is exactly what Davis needed to see. A guy still yearning for His first 2 games of double digits, at least consecutively.
That's a foul on Hawaii. Davis got his hands on it, and Yassine Toumi, the well-traveled big man from France, committed the foul.
Toumi, there's so many versatile pieces on this Hawaii team. They have the size, they have the shooting, they have a guard who's so crafty and hungry, Hunter Erickson. Poly has hit this little lull as Hawaii, 4 of their last 5 offensively. You would think shooting at that percentage right now, Hawaii would have a bigger lead, but yet a quick 3.
A lot of loose balls being gobbled up by Cal Poly early, but not that time.
Yeah, winning the ground game. I realize it's not football. I realize it's not fumbles, but if you're going to shoot it from this distance, you got to keep accumulating now with 7 offensive rebounds.
Erickson requesting a screen. Yassine Toumi sets it. Erickson knifes into the paint, falling away, and it pops out. Toumi in a crowd grabs the loose ball. And the foul against the Mustangs will keep it on this end with the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, Poly fortunate there. There was just a common foul. But again, this is back to Osron, a fella who has not get any playing time last game. He's had 10 points, 8 fouls, and 10 rebounds in his previous 3 games. But the issue was right there. It's the second time this game where the dribble gets right around the big fella. You don't have to win up top. And you're guarding guards. You just got to use your size, your width, to keep them out of the paint for easier opportunities. Yeah, deep post there.
And a deflection, another steal for Cal Poly.
Yeah, great on Davis there, just wrapping around a big fella. Careful with your perimeter passes here. Come right back to you.
Davis to the corner, Austin Good. Lost the dribble. A takeaway for Dre Bullock, who goes end to end and lays it in.
Yeah, non-existent as far as the forcefulness of protecting the rim. Of course, Bondo, who has had some foul trouble lately, did not want to commit then. The ball going to the corner there. Good's just got to get it out of there. When you catch it not cleanly, keep it moving.
Ollie Osron goes over the back, trying to grab another Cal Poly offensive rebound off the Austin Good miss. And Hawaii takes a 4-point lead. Underwent an off-season facelift. When you look at the returners and the newcomers from a season ago, a team that finished 9th in the Big West. Well, they've done it with their defense.
Yeah, and they're kind of built to play against traditional offenses, I should say. Poly's not a traditional offense. There we go with the charge there. Back to my point earlier of just get your hips in front. Kieran Elliott knocked his shoe off there. The suction and power that can sometimes go into feet and bodies moving in opposite directions. But back to Hawaii's defense, the reality is their drop coverage typically on a lot of side on-ball screens, middle on-ball screens, plays into the size and the flexibility. The other thing Hawaii really has is well put together physical guards. They will hound the ball up top, and they were deflections are a key, but this is also a team that blocks shots. I just think overall for a Hawaii team, it's their intent. Right there, you just swipe at the ball, you're being nasty to the ball.
Isaiah Kerr, who's a transfer from Division II Chico State, with the takeaway and the score for Hawaii.
Well, this is quickly out of control now. 7 of 8 from that 2-point line, and only getting better as Davis going to give it right back to him. You hit the layup on one end, go back and do the same thing. Poly's got to balance this. They're in a rut of 4 or 5 bad 3-point attempts. That is always on the table against a slower defense.
You get the sense since the start of conference play, maybe Jake Davis's confidence has gone up. Peter Bindle hit with the foul call, sending Yassine Toumi, who spent last year at Seton Hall, to the free throw line for a pair.
It appeared to slip, but it was really just kind of a good fake. He looked him off, a quick juke and a first burst.
Well, you wondered coming into this game, how would these Hawaii big men match up against Cal Poly? Jim Les, UC Davis, they elected not to play their big low post guys against the Mustangs. Hawaii doesn't have much of a choice. They've built this team around some of their 6'10", 7-foot players.
Well, I completely agree, and that's kind of a reality when you get into tournament-style basketball. Can you enforce your physicality and size? Irvine has done it for years within this conference. But again, Poly is that outlier. Back when the decision was made to have Mike DeGeorge, styles make fights, and they absolutely have a style that can beat anybody within this conference. The hard part is when you're stale and have a couple turnovers, they do have those 7 offensive rebounds. 26% from the 3-point line right now.
Caden Ward from way outside, wide to the right.
And look, the patience and stomach factor for Coach DeGeorge and his staff are way more beautiful than most fans could even understand. But that is not a great one. The ball was not touched, it was not moved, and it just lets the opposition kind of find their rhythm and gather of poking another one in the paint.
Another score at the rim for Dre Bullock, who's up to 7 first-half points. Largest lead for Hawaii. Jake Davis hits another 3.
In a weird, ironic way, you give up a layup and you take that sort of step back 3. You're +1 on that differential. Mike DeGeorge's hands will get tired from the claps and applause of those types of possessions.
8 points this first half. Cal Poly being led by Jake Davis, who just picked up the reach-in foul. That'll put Hawaii in the bonus these final 6 minutes and 12 seconds and put Toomey back at the line.
Yeah, that's what you really can't do to a team who's a little bit slower than you, is get caught in that 1v1 coverage, understanding that a quick shift and a rip is going to lead to a foul. Now look at Poly right now. You got 3 guys around that free throw line holding their knees. This pace oftentimes dictates what the opponent can't do late in the game, and that was absolutely the difference maker against Davis. Davis ran out of some steam, and Poly made that comeback. We'll see if Hawaii can race to this first half break and get them a little bit more rest, but it appears Poly has slowed their charges.
Second free throw coming for Yassine Toomey. Shoots him at 55% and rolls in both. Toomey, a 6th-year senior, as a Division I player on the catch and shoot. Musa sticks a 3.
Oh, bad defense. You got to understand, this kid started 1 of 6. He's going to continue to look for it, and yet he has not gone inside for anything of significance. A quick pass to the wing and right back to him. That's easy money for a top scorer in the country.
Ahmad Musa's 6 first-half points, 2 of 7 from the long line. Ward gets knocked over, holding his face, and Toomey's whistled for an offensive foul. Mike DeGeorge and the Cal Poly bench are encouraging the officials to head to the replay monitor and take an extended look at it.
I don't know how physical it was. The first one was there, the second one was there. It was a reach, it was an awkward angle, but it wasn't violent, it wasn't malicious. You're allowed to be touched in the chin. Look, he got hit in the face. Yes, he did. But it was not to the point of barreling down. Watch how hard he falls after that was hit. More so the pain of a lower leg falling onto your face.
I think there's still a little confusion among head coaches as to what can be looked at and what you may have to burn a timeout on.
Yeah. And that was more of a forearm. It wasn't an elbow. Love this. Ward right back to it. But you got to pass that. You can't go charge him.
Blocked inside. Mustangs recover and then turn it over anyway. Dre Bullock slams it down with the right hand.
These are just catastrophic mistakes when you have advantages with the ball. Keep it simple. Bang to the next guy. Keep it moving. Let Moose go find 2 feet in the paint. He's going to win that. They're going to call a hook, though.
Offensive foul on Hamad Musa, who just picked up his 2nd. Look at Cal Poly's 2 foul participation. Mike DeGeorge at times will leave his guys out there with 2 first-half fouls.
Well, I think it also has to understand what they are in a little lull offensively. Again, Hawaii, they're shooting it wonderfully from the field. It's only 71%. I wouldn't think that they were going to shoot the temperature outside today. What a beautiful day in Slow.
Yeah, what a beautiful week it's been. Hawaii probably feels like they maybe woke up at home this morning. Bullock blocked at the rim this time, and Hawaii touched it last.
Well, probably fortunate there. You kind of got that lead shoulder around. There were hands involved, but you still got to secure loose balls with 10 fingers. The phalanges, the squeeze, the orange. Probably got to get out in some transition as well. They've done a decent job defensively of forcing some bad shots. It's got to be more. There he is.
Musa's first 2-point make.
The slitheriness of where you can have a release point. 10 is so good at any angle.
11th in the country in scoring, leads the Big West. Erickson bullies his way down the baseline. Hunkin-Clater plays it back to Erickson, guarded tightly by Good. Takes a left-hand dribble into the paint, elevates, and it pops out. Rebound, Caden Ward, the outlet to Peter Bundle. Despite shooting about 30% worse than Hawaii, Cal Poly within 3, but they've now turned it over 9 times this first half. after only turning over the basketball 10 times the entirety of their victory last time out against Davis.
Just like last year, there was improvement towards the end of the year with those lackluster style of turnovers. But you mentioned the 10 right now. 6 of them have really been self-induced. And Poly, as we know, leads the country in non-steal turnovers. It's passing and catching simplicity that takes the advantage away from your shot attempts. Poly, 10 turnovers and only down 3 points with the opposition shooting 63%.
Have to feel fortunate. Erickson on a catch and shoot. Can't hit the 3, and it falls into the lap of Austin Good.
This is where you got to run. Bondle's got to get all the way through to that corner, keep the attack pressure on, and now we're throwing the ball everywhere. Ward and DeGeorge wants a sub.
Ahmad Musa with a miss from three-point range. Now 2 for 8 from the outside. Could be a night where Ahmad Musa lets 20 fly from distance.
Sore shoulders. I know baseball signings are happening aplenty, but can this kid pitch? Maybe.
Dre Bullock off the window and in, having a big first half here in Slow.
Well, and it's messy there if you allow a guy to get to the baseline without your help there. This is where Good can be good, but way off on where he's directing that shot. Proper depth of the paint, but you got to put it higher on the square. And this is, again, Chris, leading into what I'll call great versus good. The key to the game for me was long line love calls. Do you love it? Are you committed to taking a good one?
Johnson out of the shot fake to the rim and missed the layup, but it's tapped in by Gitas Namiksha, who led Hawaii in scoring a season ago.
Well, they're trying to sub Ward. He has completely fallen apart with holding on to the ball, and this Poly run against them right now.
Well, Musa takes it right back. Bundle flings a 3 and can't hit. Ward on the offensive glass. A second bite at the apple. Bundle requesting a screen. Instead, he knifes inside. Count it! And a foul for Peter Bundle.
And it's hard to decipher. That's not really a screen. It's just kind of a come together. It's in between. And, well, for Hawaii defense that has given up a handful of these layups, easy for Bundle. Find that glass, find the free throw line, and stay in contact of a team down 5.
Clutch seats. Get in on the action. Don't miss the save. Scoring tickets has never been easier. Get your tickets now at soldout.com. Soldout.com is a proud partner of the Big West.
All right, Hawaii last time out, down a point at home against previously unbeaten in the Big West UC Irvine, and Hunter Erickson, Onions at the horn.
It was kind of an excuse me development within that play. Irvine had gone zone at myriads of points at that time, but late, it was really dislodged. To give Irvine credit for kind of extending out that pressure, and then just an experienced player went and found the nail and hit that fadeaway. There's nothing like that, whether it's home or road. It's just about the look. If you can get the look, you know the rest will take over, and that's got to be a highlight of his season so far. Erickson knocking off an Irvine squad at home.
Hunter Erickson graduated high school way back in 2018. Could name a good chunk of NFL quarterbacks that graduated high school a little later than that. As Peter Bondel caps the three-point play, Mustangs within 4 despite the shooting splits being on opposite ends of the spectrum here. Hawaii 60% from the floor. Cal Poly just 36.
Well, and how about last game? 26 points accounted for from the free throw line. They missed their last one, or it might have been a program record. Only 1 of 1 for the Mustangs here. Jake Davis got really whacked by Isaac Johnson's elbow. He is off the court, walking to. This is going to be messy. I don't know where the help is, but there is blood and there is pain. It's all over the court in the corner. We'll get a replay of Isaac Johnson turning with that elbow, and as a guard, you just sometimes can't understand. Yeah, the refs don't even know about it here.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
There's certain things to hope for when blood ensues. You do not want the cut above the eye. It could be a nose crookedness. Let's see here, it's a turn right back there, boom. Oh, those glancers right between the eyes, those are stunning. Yeah, it's not fun. Poly, they've worked on a defensive mechanism called attacking the back, and really what that means is when a big fella or even a guard going into the paint, before he turns back, you're trying to trap that space, take it away, go in there with 2 hands. But when 6'11 plus turns to 6'3, who is kind of downward towards that ball, that is full force and a fellow that is going to have to find some breath and relaxation.
There was no foul that came of the sequence. It was a missed shot by Hawaii. They grabbed the offensive rebound, and Cal Poly knocked it out of bounds. But the officials are taking an extended look here at the scorer's table to see if maybe this warrants some sort of upgrade.
The elbow was not out. It was a basketball move in motion. And I've always said this used to happen. Remember, for many a year, the officials had talked about the silo and getting in his personal space. Defenders would get away with drawing offensive fouls because they put their chin in there. Now Davis, this was not malicious on either side of it. It was a basketball play. Unfortunately, he's going to have that head ringing for a little bit, but this is an absolute play on.
Could be a big loss for Cal Poly if Jake Davis can't find his way back out there. He's already delivered a pair of threes, matching Hamad Musa with 8 points to lead the Mustangs tonight. And right now back in the locker room being attended to by Crystal Slover and the rest of the staff.
Yeah, there's a cut between the eyes is what she's indicating. Which between them, now it comes down to if stitches are needed. It's
Isaac Johnson misses the putback attempt.
Well, fortunate there. 2 good looks for Hawaii. The one rims out, and then you just biff the layup. Hawaii's got to get back to good looks right now. Their trend offensively has not been great ones.
Musa trying to create. Terminated his dribble. Jackson Mosley back on the floor. He lets it fly. Yes, sir! J-Mo delivers from downtown.
The corkscrew and turn of the hips. This fella, as Coach DeGeorge, kind of leaned that one in as well. Ram Kanat's got to be thinking, how is this team doing what they're doing? A 1-point difference.
5 off the bench for Jackson Mosley. Maybe working his way into a mainstay role in this Cal Poly rotation. Namiksha scores off the window.
And it is a 3 versus a 2 there. It's a +1 for Poly, but that non-formidable defense on the other side is not a long type of play.
Tarlatch wheeling downhill, a southpaw finish. Mike DeGeorge up out of his sneakers trying to call timeout, and he gets it with 66 seconds on the clock. And all things considered, Wazoo, we talked about the discrepancy in shooting. The gap is getting a little bit closer, but Cal Poly has to wonder when they look at the box score, how on earth are we this close?
Well, you also have to look at the stamina quotient because the Mustangs usually don't get outrun at home, and these types of moves from a Mustang squad, it's so good to see Luka out there. I mean, just a myriad of injuries and just inconsistencies with availability for him. He went all the way down in there. You draw 2. You get a back turn from an opponent. I think the other reason for the timeout there was just a reminder, look, fellas, do not let them drive strong-handed and do your best to make them turn and check out.
Anytime you got Musty in the house, there's just a different energy and buzz, and you've got to tip your cap to San Luis Obispo and the Cal Poly community. They've put a lot of butts in seats here at Mott each the last 2 home games as this team tries to go back above 500 in the Big West.
Well, Section 14 has shown up in the female variety tonight. The band is here, but the football team was here last game. We can't be selective. They're all allowed to come.
You know, our colleague Owen Main said the football team's attendance the last game was worth at least 4 points. Mustangs within 1. Mosley a little stunned at the blocking foul call that will send Hunter Erickson to the free throw line for 1 and 1.
You know, those are always technically so difficult to stomach because you don't have your hips and your shoulders in front of him, but you're moving away from the dribbler. And as this ball comes here, he's moving away from him. And by the technicality of basketball, you are impeding progress. That was a little slide to the right, but he's moving back and away. Credit Erickson of getting in that call, which is typically called at this level.
Final installment between Hawaii and Cal Poly as Big West members here in Mott Athletics Center. Mustangs will make the return trip in late February to the Stan Sheriff Center. Ron Gannett told us earlier today he's excited for the move to the Mountain West, but he's going to miss the rivalries that were created during Hawaii's decade-plus tenure as a Big West member.
I'll tell you what, completely different infrastructure as far as gyms and atmospheres and all of that. A little bit different on the travel, but there's something just really cool about Big West gymnasiums. Of course, the Thunder, of course, when Mott gets rolling.
It's Musa and a late whistle. It was for the ball out of bounds. Hunter Erickson claiming that Hamad Musa had flopped as he let that one fly.
Well, no, they're going to go with a foul on a box out of Peter Bondel, who was running through that. He's had his fair share of offensive rebounds this game here. Ward with 5, Bondel with 4. The guards are rebounded for the Stangs so far this game.
So it is a foul on Hawaii. They're 6th and a 5-second violation.
Yeah, just multiple malfunctions this year out of baseline, out of bounds. And not getting the ball in is completely different than not getting a good shot. That's the lowest rung of acceptance. Having wrong guys take it out, and then the screen. The ability to hold off a defender and just get the ball in bounds. Basically going to eliminate your 2-for-1 as well.
Three-point lead for Hawaii. About 6 seconds separate the shot clock and the game clock as we dwindle down in the opening 20 from San Luis Obispo. Rainbows have won 8 of their last 9 checking in. Ruliadef in trouble. Isaac Kerr to the baseline. Erickson, topside. Hunkin Clater. Off the side of the rim, Namiksha for 2. And Hawaii ends with a make. They take a 5-point lead to the break in San Luis Obispo, 41-36. There weren't a ton of second chance looks for the Rainbows that first half. Just 4 second chance points, but they get the final bucket on a Namiksha stick back.
Well, you forgot to keep playing. Good got turned around there, and credit Hawaii of knowing time, score, and situation. It felt like the better team is winning at halftime right now based on the shot selection and the areas of which they're taken, but for the Mustangs, 22 three-pointers in this first half, a little bit better than the 3 of 19 they had against Davis. Long game, warm gym, some energy to be had, but Hawaii's got to be happy with a 2-possession lead.
It is 41-36, Rainbow Warriors in front of the Mustangs at the break. Still ahead, we'll sit down with Cal Poly Director of Athletics, Carter Henderson. You can find the full interview on the Cal Poly Athletics YouTube page. He talks about the new football hire of Tim Skipper and what the future of Cal Poly Athletics may look like in this ever-changing landscape at the collegiate level. 41-36, enjoy part of our sit-down with Carter Henderson by as many as 7 points that first half. The halftime lead is 5 for the Rainbow Warriors, who have gone 5-4 in Mott Athletics Center under Ron Gannett.
Again, this is a team that I think is more formidably put together against a style that is not like Cal Poly, but it'll be intrigued to see it because Davis, they gave a 53 to the Mustangs in the most recent game here in the second half. Mosley going to get this start in the second for Jake Davis, who we've been told is getting stitches and trying to find maybe a jersey that isn't soaked with some blood.
How many of your old jerseys sitting around in the bowels of this place?
The stuff we used to wear was so heavy. I mean, look, what they wear these days, it is light, and the ability, it's blousy and nice.
Musa uncorks a deep one out of halftime. Bondel got a hand on it, but the Mustangs go one and done as Harry Ruliadef pulls in the miss.
A concerted effort there by 9 to go after loose balls. He has come up with at least 4 offensive rebounds. Didn't get that one there. these slice cuts and in-between cuts here for Hawaii, just trying to use their strength and physicality.
Isaac Johnson triggers a three. Rulia last to touch it. It belongs to Cal Poly.
Well, that's an absolute win as far as position defense, but Poly, really for the majority of the year, it's almost like they wait for their teammate to go get the rebound. Rarely is there a rebound accumulated near the rim height that leads right into a push transition.
Bondel had 8 points that first half, peels back. It deadens off the side of the iron. Musa grabs the loose ball. Second effort for the Mustangs. Mosley pulls the trigger, and it swirls off the cylinder.
I mean, this is like Papa shot here. Just go find one, kick it out. You've got to get back and eliminate those. So those are the decimators for a Mustang defense. It has happened far too frequently. The missed shot to an easy 2-foot layup on the other side.
The game high 12 for Hunter Erickson, the 6th year from Provo, Utah. This matches Hawaii's largest lead tonight.
Well, this gets stuck right here, and you can't screen and stand. It's just, them are fighting words with the coaches and the players. But George is going to have to time out, or at least remind with substitution patterns.
Dre Bullock missed it off the side of the iron. Mustangs grab it and come the other way. Mosley left it short.
0 for 4 to start the second. 2 tough ones, 2 decent ones.
Bullock kicks it out. Rulia. Another miss for Hawaii. Just 2 of 12 from distance tonight.
Yeah, there are some worlds as well. You just feel as a basketball player, you got to shoot it when you're open. That's a bad play by Johnson of hammering down, but Musa can get around most fellas' hips and extend with that right hand. The free throw could be a difference maker for this team. We know Musa got that game back in it with some of these handles. Yeah, Johnson's not going to keep up with that.
Cal Poly only shot 1 free throw the entirety of the first half after having one of their most efficient showings in program history from the foul line against Davis. Last time they played, they were 26 out of 28 at the free throw line in the victory against the Aggies. And Ahmad Musa, who leads the team in free throw attempts, a rare miss. North of 85% on the season from the stripe.
Apparently both teams kind of waiting for the other team to get engaged. This has been a thudding of a second half start, at least for the Stangs that have missed all 4 of their shots, and now a free throw.
Musa among the best in the country at drawing fouls, averages about 8 fouls drawn for 40 minutes, which is good for top 20 in the country. It's one thing to be a team and rank top 20 in the country,
sure,
right? And that's still impressive when you factor together that there are more than 360 Division I college basketball teams. But you do that math times what, 15 on every roster? If you're top 20 in anything as a player in the country, it's very impressive.
Well, the other help on that is how many times per game he's fouled on a 3-point shot, because those 3-point free throws skip opposites. For Harry, knocking in a splash to the opposite, Poly is stagnant defensively at all of a sudden.
First points for Harry Rulia, who averages almost 12 a game. Bundle left alone and answers back for the Mustangs.
Well, and that's a dagger you got to give to the defense when they mispronounce a switch or at least go underneath a fella in 9 that will shoot it time and again.
Bondel, the first Cal Poly player into double figures with 11. Erickson. They feed Johnson inside, and he flutters it in, plus the foul. Well, the ball movement from Erickson to Hunkin Clater, and it found the 7-footer Isaac Johnson right around his sweet spot.
Well, and Poly does a fantastic job of usually eliminating and cutting off the baseline. They did it once, they didn't do it twice, and when you foul, you got to make sure that forearms are dislodged. That was a more convenient foul to a 3-point play opportunity for a guy in Johnson that has a really good free throw stroke as well, partner. I mean, not many bigs can shoot it the way he does. The propensity to step out on the line and yet still shoot it high 80s from the free throw line.
Top 100 in all of college basketball from the free throw line. And exit stage left after completing the 3-point play. So Hawaii has outscored Cal Poly 8-4 the first 3 minutes, 15 seconds of this second half. Intercepted. Bullock. Oh my, a 360 finish.
Anti-gravity. Simple for him to float. It's all built with the legs. He's got experience. When you pick off passes slot to slot, it's easy to go.
And
travel.
No, that's going the other way. It's not a travel. It's an offensive foul on Hamad Musa. And this is showtime on a Thursday night in Mott.
Well, some coaches call them turnover for touchdowns, but when a reversal is done not with eyes and intent to hit the outside part of the hand, you've got to throw it away from defenders. This has been a sluggish offensive start.
Cal Poly 1 for 5 with 3 turnovers on the offensive end to begin this second half at home. Can never count out this Mustang group. They always seem to find their way back in games, even trailing by double figures. Hunkin-Clater on the crossover sets up Erickson, who splashes in the 3.
Well, that's just traditional offense. We're going to draw a weak side defender. That's where Ward went and looked, and it was just way too late. Easy pickings.
Carlatch into a crowd, knocked out by Hawai'i, and Cal Poly with work to do. It's a second half haymaker from Hawai'i. They've outscored the Mustangs 13-4, and doing it from all areas on the offensive end.
Does that come with an increased budget of direct flights?
I hope so, because you know, instead of being in what, 75 and sunny like it was today in San Luis Obispo next year, they may be in below freezing temperatures in Laramie, Wyoming.
And completely different gymnasium atmospheres as well. I always liked the Stan Sheriff Center, dating back to days playing there, hosting the tournaments, and well, good on Ward, just kind of stepping in. I never liked those plays as an offensive guy. You have to be cognizant of who's trying to dupe you and stand in front. But the malaise in which this second half has started for a Poly offense, it's scary to think how quick the rejuvenation can occur. And whether it's Kieran Elliott, who's a good baseline cutter and creator here, the ball is getting too slow. Mike DeGeorge typically isn't this outspoken as far as how quickly he wants guys getting the ball out of their hand. The 6 to 7 dribbles, Moose is one of the rare guys in the country that can just go find it at the end of the clock.
Double figures for Hamad Musa. He has 11, and the Hawai'i lead 11 with 15 minutes to play.
Every single one of his Poly games have been double-digit scoring. A couple of those in the 30 spots. Poly's got to re-engage on this end.
They'll lob it inside, and Namiksha scores at the cup.
And teams can hunt that. With all the switchabilities on the perimeter, this happens a ton. Ironically, having Mosley in there versus Davis. Davis, a guy that's really a good post defender, quick and physical. Mose couldn't keep up with that long lob.
Musa downhill again. It pops out, flipped it up off balanced, and here comes Aaron Hunkin-Clater, the Oahu native who graduated high school a few hours north of here in Richmond, California. Second season with the program. Corner pop. Namiksha can't hit. And a whistle.
They're going to look at Bullock here. I know a couple dentists in the building today. We might need some ENTs, nose and throats, because there have been a variety of offhanded little chicken wings, little glancers. There's only been one kind of Tyson blow between the eyes, and we've yet to see Jake Davis come back here to the bench. All these others, it's just annoying to get hit in the chiclets. Ron Gannott asking for some sort of look as well to Bullock, who now's got a towel across his chest. We'll see what sort of offensive energy Aaron Price can bring to this game. He can go grab offensive boards. I've always enjoyed Aaron and how his ability to be so bouncy and energetic on the defensive side. So we'll see if this, 4 of 4 of perfection, 2-point field goals of Hawaii can be slowed down.
Aaron Price, his 67th game in a Cal Poly uniform tonight. Tough shot, Caden Ward Might use that next time he's playing horse.
I mean, that's the definition of tough. Run through his chest, get bounced back. The defender stays low and true, and just kind of hook it over him.
I can't remember. Did I beat you in horse when we were in Eugene last year?
No,
I didn't win.
There was some confusing moments with you and others as Aaron Price engaged here. I don't know, they'll call a free path.
Well, that's the energy Mike DeGeorge was looking for, bringing Aaron Price into this game.
The beautiful thing about AP as well is he's consistently doing this in practice as well. A reminder, a teacher, an encourager. I've never completely agreed with his hairdo, mostly because I'm jealous. But the energy, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, Bondel thought somebody was camping out in the corner, and Cal Poly gives it right back.
And that oftentimes happens without a ton of time of movement on the offensive end. AP not a three-point shooter. On those types of drives, Poly wants guys staying in the corner, getting ready to shoot it.
14th appearance for Aaron Price, the senior from Las Vegas, in his 4th year with the program. Hawaii by double figures. They led by 5 at halftime, and a foul away from the basketball on Aaron Price Jr.
Come on, let's go.
So
AP picks up the personal.
Well, there are some switching defenses where you can kind of just have your more physical players steer near the rim. But Johnson's going to win these inbounds, and if you don't dig appropriately.
Oh, Johnson to the floor.
Oh.
Had to be a travel or a foul, and a foul on Caden Ward. Home crowd doesn't love it. The Chiefs standing up. That's how you know the home crowd wasn't a big fan of the whistle.
He stepped on his foot, especially when the offense initiates that first contact. That'll be the quick Maybelline, as I would call it, the makeup. Kind of throw it right back at him. Well, can this be the opportunity for Poly to kind of get it moving on offense? Kyle Bogier, the offensive coordinator for the Stangs, said he wanted 53s today. Well, they had 20 plus in the first, only 4 in the second. Little 2 or 3 possession here run from the Stangs. Get these fans back engaged.
Ward skips it. Here's Mosley. Musa lets it go. Loose ball. Karams to midcourt, still on the floor. The possession arrow favors Hawaii.
There's been a handful of those that Poly won in the first half, but I really like the play previous when Mosley went in there and just kind of hunted it. That Hawaii's been late on a handful of times of Musa getting open for those kick out and late clockers. Moose sitting there at 2 of 11 from the three-point line. Rest assured that number is not crossing his mind. He is looking for the next best one. Have you enjoyed, by the way, the new musical, I don't want to call it Genius, but it's more baseball infusion into Mott this year. Just the organic presence.
I thought somebody was playing organ from a closet down the hallway from the basketball floor here. Oh, and Johnson is so good at the free throw line. Will work there for a pair.
Well, Namiksha never left the paint. He had 1 foot down in there, kind of hovering and bouncing. It was definitely an advantage because the smaller defender was behind him. See him there, Mosley, and then leading out. You know you're not going to win at the rim as far as altering that shot. You try to get those hands a quick slip and a quick slap. This guy Johnson, is so versatile as an offensive player. He very good second half against Irvine at home the other evening, including a step in and kind of that lefty hook shot that sealed. This is what I mean by having a traditional offense. Teams will have to game plan for this, and if Hawaii with this double-digit 12-point lead, they can have the ball touch the paint or the post and play out of that. That is hugely in their favor.
Johnson knocks down both. He's got 9 points, 4 boards tonight. Hawaii by 13. A lot of time left on the clock here in slow. Ward on a skip, Tarlach threw it away.
One jump ahead of
Cal Poly up to 16 in the turnover column now. And well, no Guzman Vasilic tonight. Averages about 23 minutes a game, dealing with a sprained ankle. Cal Poly idle for the next week after this one. They won't play Saturday as Finlayson missed it off the side of the iron. Here come the Mustangs. Ward lays it in, playing through the contact of Namiksha for 2.
Well, I always love his celebrations after he takes flight, and a beautiful left hand and a soft touch. Got to get back and guard the ball here. Johnson is there trying a touch, a post paint, every possession at this point.
Finlayson fades, fires, and fills it up.
If you just play on balance against Poly's D as those spin moves, it usually works out for you well because you can spin, have that size advantage, just put a soft teardrop over the top.
Tarlach, one more. Aaron Price tried to massage it in, but never found his balance underneath. Yeah, the cutting and the ball movement, pretty good there from Cal Poly, but couldn't finish the execution. They still trail by a baker's dozen. 11 minutes to play. Finlayson couldn't wrap it in. Bondel on the move.
You had Hawaii's big trailing there, and Bondel has not given up the ball after 15-plus seconds of the dribble.
A deep one for Ward. Almost banked it in, and a foul underneath will keep it on this end when we return. 10:40 left. Hawaii +8 in this second half. And they still lead by double figures. Their final trip to slow.
Bounds, and you give it to that type of athlete, he'll go dump it on you.
Yeah, they've only assisted on 3 of their 18 makes. And Ahmad Musa up to 13 to lead the Mustangs. 11-point game.
That breaks the logjam of 3 players with 4 made buckets. That was Musa, Ward, and Peter Bondel. Only 6 other made field goals from all other Mustangs. They're going to need more than Moose, but they will need him.
Namiksha flips it up there. Tried to get put back by Johnson, but couldn't finish the flush. Very close to an offensive basket interference. Tarlach wheeling downhill. Mosley's back in the game. Musa around the Tarlach screen, steps back, left it way short, still up for grabs, and last touched by Hawaii, but Cal Poly has less than 4 seconds on the shot clock here. Ahmad Musa just 2 of 12 from the long line.
Well, it's a pretty good job by Finlayson to kind of get over that screen and contest late. He's going to try to stay with Ward on this one.
Tarlach, nothing comes of it. Here comes Isaiah Kerr, grew up a few hours north of here in Palo Alto. And a reach-in foul on Mosley, the 6th against Cal Poly this half.
Well, teams know in transition they can go hunt that paint, and Mosley, a guy that'll absolutely put his body in the way, but the size differential did matter there. I think the other thing, too, that has been difficult for Poly is, especially in the second half, Price as well as Tarlach, they're coming in for defensive reasons. Not necessarily what they can do offensively in rhythm with the sporadic playing time that they've had recently.
Cal Poly's still in this game, but they'll need to string together stops and scores as Kerr with a kiss off the glass for 2.
I mean, just a shot that kids develop at a very young age. Ward went for it, man.
He tried to punch that through the cylinder, and at the very least earns a couple of free throws. Maybe it'll take a high-flying finish from Caden Ward to kind of get this crowd back into it.
Well, the crowd wants to cheer for a little bit more, of course, the three-pointers, but they're going to need better stops right now, as Hawaii has risen their percentage totals to 50% in the second half.
Well, the free throw makes all the success Cal Poly had in their last game against UC Davis has not carried over. Fewer attempts, but more misses. Double figures for Ward, he's got 10. All 3 of Cal Poly's quote-unquote big 3 in double figures scoring tonight. Johnson with the mouse in the house, knocked over Ward and scored it off the glass.
Yeah, the quick roll, able to acclimate the feet without charging. He wasn't a short roll. He was going all the way to the rim.
Offensive foul on Kieran Elliott, trying to hook his way. And Hawaii gets it back. Again, they match their largest lead of 14 inside of 9 minutes.
Well, you got to give a ton of credit to defenders that are willing to put their hips in it, continue to slide, and kind of leave that upper jaw area exposed. You don't expect to be hit in the face a ton playing basketball, but it's happened with some of these hooks and higher elbows 4 or 5 times tonight.
Jump ahead of you.
Hawaii led by 5 coming out of halftime. It's been a +9 second half for the Rainbows.
We can talk strategy a little bit within this. Hawaii's going to want to hit high post. They're going to want to work low, get Johnson here rolling. These aren't the types of shots that I really want rimmed out.
Caden Ward in among the trees grabs the miss. Aaron Price back on the floor, plays it back to Ward. He lets it go. Cal Poly now 8 of 30 from 3-point territory, 1 for 8 in this second half.
And Chris, I don't know the polite way to say that, but those are the types of shots that lead to the possession Hawaii just had. They're demoralizers on the offensive side. When a guy takes one out of rhythm, it's nowhere near it, and it just adds to the feeling of, a 10-point play is what, it's not happening.
Almost get the sense Hawaii is running away with this thing. Kerr has missed a 3 on 3 straight trips down. Musa, Euro stepping and missing the layup. They grabbed the loose ball when it was all said and done, and free throw.
The mentality to leave or I'm in a tough spot is not going to change. I like any rule that can make them stick it out, especially the mid-year transfer one. As far as the coach's departure and when that is all allowed, look, agents are working on behalf of the players, at least the good ones, but at least having a more symmetrical access to where coaches aren't having to pick apart their roster 365 a year. That is going to make their lives a lot easier.
Duncan Clater hunting the mismatch. Instead, Bullock lets it go and sticks the 3. His big night and slow continues. He's got a team-high 16.
You gather those feet right underneath your shoulders. It's so much easier with that energy to release proper parabolas that could be a dagger to a Poly team that has only made 1 in the second half.
Look out below, Aaron Price, and give him 1 on the house. Maybe the spark Cal Poly needed as they get it back to 15 with 7:05 to play.
His runway takeoffs are always fun to watch, and when he puts 2 hands on him, he's usually going to win around the rim. Carlot's on that short roll. Price can bounce with the best of them.
Seen a lot of those free throws wiggle out for Cal Poly in this second half.
Well, we've also seen Poly, as far as coming back from double-digit deficits in this building, do so with the opportunity of pressure defense. But Hawaii right now is doing it in a variety of ways. A quick, easy little handoff, the miscommunication on who's on that switch, and for a guy in Bullock that is arguably the best athlete going to his right hand in this place, just late identification. Poly's not a rim neutralizing team.
We wondered how the contrasting of styles would play, who it would favor. Tonight, I think the scoreboard answers that question.
Well, again, Chris, back to one of the keys I had talked about, the long line love calls for Poly. Do you love the 3 you took? And I think they're hovering around 50% of loving the attempts that they've taken. They're obviously 1 of 8 in the second half, and not all of those have been great.
Hawaii has outscored Cal Poly by 12 in the half as the Mustangs turn it over for a 19th time. You just can't make that many mistakes against this veteran Hawaii group.
Yeah, football, you turn it over in football, it drives coaches crazy. Baseball and errors, basketball it happens, but 4 or 5 of these have just been real non-existent. Just catch the ball.
Largest lead for the Rainbows, trying to build on it. Ward picks up Hunter Erickson. Across the floor it goes, Namiksha, shooting practice.
You dive, effort play, but leads to easy ones.
Well, the inconsistencies from this Cal Poly group, a young Cal Poly group.
Really is, yeah.
I think it's easy to forget. As Musa feeds it, Price jams it. Another high-flying finish for the senior out of Vegas.
Yeah, I think Hawaii's content with making Musa a driver and a passer at this point.
Offensive foul for a moving screen will give it back. Talking about Cal Poly's youth. And the Mustangs who've come along with this group and gotten better since the beginning of the season. They're among the bottom of the country in Division I experience. And we talk so much about this big three. They've gotten a lot of publicity because of some of the big games they've had. But they're all sophomores. They're all in their second year of college basketball. As they run that same play again, but Price couldn't wrap it in. Only Peter Bondel among the big three saw significant minutes last year.
Yeah, and there were spots when Ward did have good bursts, but you're right. As far as the longevity of seeing every types of actions playing through frustration or stamina, they're still young in their overall calling cards, and these types of turnovers, when Ward gets down there and just loses it.
And Bullock bullies his way, couldn't finish it. And last touched by Hawaii. 5:13 to play, Rainbows by 17. And have really dominated most of this second half.
Well, it's just been a lethargic effort as far as player and ball movement, the accuracy and the detail, other than the dunks of Price and the drop down passes here. Go a little old school action of trying to get Moose on this nail with a couple curls and rescreens.
There's Musa for two inside. Ahmad Musa, 17 tonight.
Poly hasn't done that a ton this year. They did it a lot for Owen Kuntz and Hyder and put Jessup in those spots. It just causes so much indifference as far as a defender. Do I help? Do I hedge? And that roll from there. We'll see if Poly goes back to it. And Hawaii's going to keep finding paint and sprays.
Namiksha on target. A straightaway three. So Gidis Namiksha, who averages almost double figures off the bench, has 15 tonight. Number 15 in white, putting together a second half highlight reel against the Rainbows.
Well, nearing his career high of dunks in a game. I believe Hawaii was not back for that one, but AP is always going to play with energy. You want to pass to him when you see him cutting.
Heat check won't go this time for Namiksha, ripped away by Ward. Only 4 minutes to play in a 16-point game. Tarlach could not catch that cleanly. 21st Cal Poly giveaway. The floater no good from Hunkin Clater. The putback is for Gidis Namiksha. And a timeout Aran Ganat. Hawaii in control with 3:52 to play. On the cusp of winning their 9th game in 10 tries. But Aaron Price bringing the energy for the home team on the final 3 and change from San Luis Obispo tonight. Ahmad Musa has been blanketed from distance. Good chunk of the game now, 2 for 13 from the outside.
Now you credit a little of that to Hawaii being prepared, of knowing late game or late clock he's going to go after it. But the reality is Poly hasn't done a fantastic job of manufacturing, other than early in this game, of taking some better looks at things. And now with the interior physical presence of Hawaii, they're going to try to chug these clocks as long as they can.
Mustangs get a takeaway. Musa out of control, and Hawaii takes it right back. That's been the type of game it's been as Bullock adds to his total. It's a 20-piece for Dre Bullock tonight. His 9th time as well from the field, and he's brought the energy on both ends of the floor. That's our Mr. Pickles hungriest player of the game. A worthy winner.
Well, there's no doubt about it that his energy has kind of been contagious for a Hawaii team that I thought was slow-footed and really late to the ball early on. Poly had about 7 offensive rebounds in the first 8 minutes of the game. Now they're just able to pass wherever they want.
He lost the handle on the way up, but Hawaii gets it back and scores. Ruli Adef off the glass for 2. Cal Poly will not play this weekend. In action again, the first of 2 blue-green rivalry games against Santa Barbara in the Thunderdome next Thursday. Caden Ward misfires from deep as Cal Poly's second half three-point shooting struggles continue. 1 for 10 as a team.
Swimming
When they haven't had very many 20-point halves. And when they have happened, it's been the majority of the time in the first. But this little slice and scissor cut is just going to put the finishing touches on the physicality of a Hawaii team that saw Poly throw the ball all over the place.
Mike DeGeorge has been trying to call a timeout for 10 seconds. Finally gets it granted here. Osron and Good, who saw time in the first half. The freshmen are in. Plumtree and Eric Brown, a walk-on from Los Gatos up north, seeing some time late.
Come on, let's go.
These teams will meet again about a month from now, February 20th in Stan Sheriff Center. Cal Poly's going to have to be a lot better in that game on the road in that environment to pull off what would be their first win in Hawaii in over a decade. Not an easy place to win.
No, it really isn't, especially the faithful there, how enthused they've been, not only for the record that they've had, but I just think this is one of the more sturdy teams, positionally proper and pieced together. They got a lot of options within the rotation. I thought there was a good opportunity for Poly late in the first half to kind of assert themselves after they had that mini lead and only been leading for that 41 second and change, but Hawaii has been the more complex and disciplined team throughout this one. As far as the Stan Sheriff, they're getting behind it. They know what December and early January is, late November, with all the home frequencies.
Cal Poly will play in a raucous environment themselves next time out against Santa Barbara. Gauchos ended the 3-game Big West losing streak in Bakersfield earlier tonight. Bill Pasternak has another loaded roster when you look at their talent. Miro Little coming from Utah. Aiden Mahaney coming from UConn after a terrific freshman season at St. Mary's. That'll be a tough team to beat. Cal Poly's been well over a decade since they've won in the Thunderdome as well.
It's been a minute. You're exactly right. You know, you still get the feeling within this conference, you know, 3 of the top tempoed teams. I know Hawaii's not there. I know Santa Barbara doesn't play fast as well, but it'll be interesting to see the matchups as we get later into these conference seasons and how it could play out to Lee's Forum for the Big West tournament.
Got to finish in the top 8 to qualify. Hawaii was on the outside looking in as a 9th place finisher last year, but certainly a contender to win the Big West regular season title this season. Trying to get to the big dance for the first time in a decade. Ron Ganot's first season, 15-16. We talked about that earlier, a team that won a game in the round of 64, upset Quanzo Martin's Cal Bears that featured Jaylen Brown, a finals MVP a couple of years ago.
Just trying to make that case for regular season. I don't know if Boston's going to keep winning to a number that they can do.
AJ Economou is from Santa Monica down south, getting some late run for Hawaii. Well, the Rainbows will improve to 10 games over 500 with the win. 5-1 in the Big West, and that should be a fun one between Hawaii and Santa Barbara a couple of nights from now.
Yeah, you would expect some, what's the nice way to say it? Some, at least fan engagement to the opposition. A lot of times when you come over there to Santa Barbara, they treat you nice as far as the noise they give you, not always the actual word said. Yeah, there's going to be a little soul searching here for the Mustangs over the weekend. They'll have some days off, but you can't be a team that is so up and down from a turnover perspective. You understand that you're going to miss 3-point shots. They're going to take a bunch. They're going to miss a handful of them. While I don't necessarily agree with all the types they took tonight, some of the turnovers are you can't rebound from those. You cannot come back when you're sacrificing, first of all, questionable shot selection mixed in with the amount of turnovers they've had. They hadn't had a 20-piece in quite some time, and they did it tonight.
Shot clock dark. Jackson Mosley climbs the ladder, flips it in with a free throw on the way.
Oh, good on Plumtree there. He advanced that pass accurately. A strong kid from New Zealand threw that ball ahead. Two guys that have not been in the normal rotation of playing time, but good to see the advanced pass. Mosley shielding off that defender.
Well, Hawaii a year from now could be in Wyoming, could be in El Paso. They joined the Mountain West Conference. Of course, they've been a long-time Mountain West football member, but joining in the rest of their sports with UC Davis this summer. And their final trip as a Big West member to Mott Athletic Center, a rememberable one. 86-66, your final score.
Well, the Arching Rainbow did not have a pot of gold for the Mustang finishing that 3-point, 1 of 10 in the second half, the difference maker. I thought overall the Hawai'i Rainbow just had too much interior presence. They took the right shots, especially late 10-minute second half to go, and for Poly's turnover totals, it's virtually insurmountable when you're going to shoot that poorly and sling the ball all over the court.
Tonight's postgame recap presented by Hotel Cerro. Whether you're celebrating a Mustang win or extending your weekend, unwind in comfort at Hotel Cerro, your home in downtown SLO. Well, the Mustangs will have a week to dust themselves off and get ready for the first of 2 blue-green rivalry games